that man is doing. He helping that boy. He helping him. Cause look, he getting a pick on. And look, he remembered. He remembered how he did Donaldson.
His campaigning, it's clear his campaign is all about law and order. It's a throwback to the past, and he's going to do everything to disrupt that.
See what it was? It wasn't him. It wasn't him that was needing that. It was that coach. That old dirty iron coach of him.
Back to Kenosha, should the former Vice President Joe Biden also visit Kenosha?
He wanted him to enter Donaldson. He wanted him to make sure to take him out. He could be in a tournament.
To be speaking out very soon, whether he goes to Kenosha or not, I don't know. I know he's going to follow medical advice first. But one thing that I think they should
maybe throw someone, maybe throw his own, maybe even throw the kitchen sink because he's putting on a show in the first
I believe the president is doing. And the tweet.
What episode you on, Way?
Right time, right player. Can't teach height.
So I think that his motivation is directed only in one area. And it's not to bring resolve to the situation. It's not to look at police abuse. It's not to do anything. It's to campaign and to agitate.
But are you concerned?
I'm doing a podcast right now, Way. You want to come?
Politically speaking, Joe Biden is inviting fire with fire that
Jefferson used to hear all these coaches talk about we need players to run the floor. No, I don't need you to run the floor. I need you to run the floor.
Do you believe Joe Biden feel that he's pushing back hard enough?
Well, I think that he has been clear. I think his statements around what happened to Mr. Blake were clear. What the president said was basically nothing. And so I do think that he has been responding, absolutely.
So President Trump has tried to tie the Democrats and Black Lives Matter protesters to some of the violence and the looting that we've seen in places like Kenosha and Portland. Marquette University poll
Did you see the way that dribble freed him up? It created so much space.
In November's election. It shows that
into the front court. They trail by 1.
13 points since
to Durant.
So are you
trying to cash in? He's too good to leave that wide open. Defense has to communicate. Kevin Durant, dynamic once again, giving it to you any way you want. On the block, perimeter, mouse in the house, whatever the scenario is, Kevin Durant has an answer. Grabs his own miss and scores. Good concentration. He's been doing this for years. The physicality in which he plays. No one wants to see that. You're going to leave the game with black and blue marks all over your body.
In 2018 as well.
Irving
in 2018,
to Durant.
the message was
Kevin Durant, 3 for 6 now. You can forget about it when he uses that 7'5" wingspan to attack the bucket.
He's using legitimate issues around police abuse and using it as a way to resurrect a very old campaign slogan.
Dinwiddie with the basketball. Leads just a point. Durant knocks it down. Defender has to get
you don't like this.
How do you neutralize a threat like Kevin Durant? Well, that weak side defender constantly has to shade Kevin Durant. And that primary defender, you have to funnel KB into help every single possession, contest shots, and hope that you can deter his vision and that he misses. Irving in the front court. Leads up pocket.
Carolina proposed their own bill.
Kevin Durant with that shot, he's 5 for 8. Have we ever seen anyone like KD? Easy answer. No, he's the greatest offensive threat we've ever seen in the game. He has a 7'5" wingspan, and he's doing things that Russell Westbrook does with the ball. We've never seen it. Dinwiddie into the front court. They lead it. 4-point game.
That addresses immunity, that lowers the standard of prosecution, so we can actually hold officers accountable. So if Richmond wants to act, he could certainly put up the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act that is over in his house. But I will tell you then that over the last couple of months, there have been a number of discussions with Republican members in the House who have presented Tim Scott with what I believe would be a strong bill. So he has an opportunity to put up.
I got to get on Kevin Durant.
Perhaps go to conference with. So I think, as you pointed out, the House voted on the bill, and a bipartisan basis, we even garnered a few Republican votes, which is a big deal because Trump tweeted
and when the ball hits the defense rotating from side to side, you're bound to find opportunities for each other.
Support. So
Durant across the timeline.
Damn!
Let's see what happens.
Okay, goddammit.
I don't know what halftime evaluation will be worse, the ankles or the bruised ego.
A number of African American speakers made a point of highlighting questionable comments by the
You playing like that?
nominee,
But that layup at the rim definitely chips away at the pride of the defense.
my question for you is, are
Irving
you
to Jordan.
concerned that kind of
Durant buries it.
He ain't making.
And I don't know why the defense continues to help on guys
That's
that
fine.
drive.
That's fine.
Take shots over
They trying to fill up my defense. Why deep? We the motherfucking ball.
Showing you why he belongs here in this league with the best of the best. Efficient scoring now, the rookie here tonight. The ball in the hands of Kyrie Irving to Durant.
Make it.
Long range.
Make it. Yeah.
Waller into the front court. Under a minute to go before
No.
halftime.
Oh shit.
In the front court, it's Irving. Up by 3. Can't connect from in close.
Get out of here.
Oh, he got a piece of it. Kevin Durant lets it fly. Knocks it down from mid-range.
Since Abraham Lincoln. So Barack Obama didn't exist, and I suppose we would be Lyndon Johnson and many other presidents.
Great body control, JLC. Ran down the lane.
But the last 2 years of this presidency,
It's not a travel ad. You're allowed 2 steps after you pick up the ball. Now, these steps may be more east and west instead of north and south. This is the new game that these young kids are playing. Jay, they're so athletic. I would imagine it varies from official to official, or it varies from great player to great player.
so he hasn't done
Dinwiddie with the basketball. His guys should be able to get the final shot. And he's fouled. He's gone to the line for 2.
And
as a defender, you cannot, I repeat, you cannot foul in the act of up into your shot. Your timing needs to be better.
We ain't losing the game.
First free throw is good.
We gonna win the game.
Good free throw shooting. Knocks down a pair.
When we found a Tommy John, Tom was obsessed with how to make underwear truly comfortable.
We reimagined comfort.
And counted at the rim.
Soft, breathable, lightweight fabric, safe with weight bands that never dig, stretch your unit. And made a liquid line so comfortable there's no
From 18 feet at the buzzer. So the difference, 3 points as we reach the break. Let's get you to Orlando, where we say hello to
And we'll ship it to your door for free. Plus, we offer a vet care guarantee.
I gotta go silk G. Okay, I'm finna get me back in the game.
first 2 quarters as we resume play here in the third. Nets have the basketball. Irving to Hollis Jefferson.
Finding cool stuff to watch.
Screen coming. Durant to Irving. The Nets now with 4 to shoot. From the outside, no good. And that's what you see this defense doing. They're capitalizing on the momentum gain from getting a multitude of stops defensively. To Irving.
The NBA playoffs on TNT. Coverage continues. Before money, people trade goods, tools,
And the 2 counted at the rim for DeAndre Jordan. Come on, DJ. Get the people what they want. I want that for my screensaver.
Some people decided to put all that value.
Short jumper off the line. Deion Waiters. Consistent effort. He's at 50%. I'm not sure that wasn't an offensive foul. But take it when you can get it.
In the Grayscale Fund. Go digital.
To Hollis Jefferson. Irving.
The 2020 election is fast approaching.
Durant. Able to convert inside. He's a modern-day big that plays like a 6'2 guard. Scary.
Also, the race is neck and neck. Some claiming President Trump is slightly behind.
Not that time. On the follow. Way to stay with it.
That's a strong finish. Regardless of contact, finishing strong is key.
Irving with the basketball. He'll run the offense.
I'm a Martinez of Kenosha, Wisconsin. and this.
Nothing going here on that drive.
Welcome back to State of the Union. I'm Dana President Trump touring the Lake Charles, Louisiana area after it was slammed by Hurricane Laura this week. The storm claimed at least 15 lives, according to officials there. There's still half a million customers
Maybe run some
without
floppy
power
sets, some
in the
point
area.
sets. Raise those bigs up, which open up the lane, and let them be the passers to make plays easier for the guards.
The start of a terrible hurricane season, coming as thousands of Americans are still contracting COVID-19 every day.
We coming back.
Now is the administrator of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, Peter Gaynor. Thank you so much for joining me. President Trump was with you in Louisiana yesterday to survey the hurricane damage.
I told you, we coming back.
I'll tell you what, it's impressive to watch a young player this new to the NBA.
What, you thought you weren't coming back in the game?
Goes a long way in establishing your presence in the league.
That's the fact as well.
Durant, tough matchup against Butler. Can't connect from inside.
It's because he took his eye off his target, Ed. As an offensive player, you have to glare at where the defender's coming to, but quickly redirect yourself to your actual target. He was more consumed
Now we got the lead.
Damaging because the climate is changing.
To Hollis Jefferson.
Human activity is responsible for the
Durant.
Helping the defense. Irving
shot off the mark.
I just love where this takes you into the psychological battle as a player offensively. Was that a great contest, or did you just miss the shot? Now you have to be thinking about that the entire next possession.
Now the Nets going to take a timeout. They'll catch their breath in what's now a 5-point game. Both coaches hitting the reset button.
To see it firsthand and give them some hope that federal resources and that great partnership is intact.
So, just you mentioned the scientists. Scientists do overwhelmingly agree that that there is human involvement in the climate crisis. The Trump administration produced its own report. 13 federal agencies was crystal clear that the observational evidence does not support any credible macro explanation for this amount of warming. Instead, the evidence specifically points to human activities, especially emissions of greenhouse or heat-trapping gases, as the dominant cause.
They weren't really committed to getting out of the way, committing a hard foul, or taking the brunt of the contact.
Again, all that to the scientists. I'm not a scientist. My role as the emergency manager is to deliver those guidance resources to those impacted by these actions, no matter the cause, no matter the place. And that's my mission.
Right, and I get that. I get that you're responsible for cleaning it up, quite literally. But as somebody who's in charge of that, do you not want to look at the cause as part of your job? And at least maybe subscribe to what I said, what your own administration has said with the scientists in your firm.
The harder the three-point shooters are running to the three-point line.
We have, every state in the United States has mitigation plans. And in those mitigation plans, states have to use the second free throw.
Now the Nets going to take a timeout. They're going to have to draw something up.
All those things to make sure that their plans reflect that. So it's part of what we do. But today in Louisiana, my job is to make sure I deliver those valuable federal resources to those impacted by the act.
Let me ask you this way. Do you believe that the climate crisis is a threat?
Just inside the arc, at the buzzer, the Heat with the victory. As they win this one by 3. For Jay Williams and all our crew.
And you just look at hurricanes, they're more frequent, they're more deadly, they're more devastating. And again, my role as a leader of FEMA, as the emergency manager for the nation, is to make sure that the nation is prepared to mitigate those risks. Congress
your football game?
Last year, a great program building resilient communities where we want to invest in pre-disaster mitigation, invest in disasters before they happen. That really is the best way to battle all kinds of weather challenges.
Okay, so just for our viewers, the overwhelming scientific
that was a good game looking at
human activity is responsible for this.
That was a good game looking.
You don't want to go there. Let's move on. I want to ask you about the coronavirus pandemic. The president held
We almost now, Timmy.
on the White House lawn on Thursday night with roughly 1,500 people.
But we came back big.
solid
for
shooting
social
was
distancing. We
prominent
saw a
on
similar
display.
scene at the
I
president's
definitely
event
enjoyed it.
on
Like
Friday
I'm
in
loving
New
and enjoying
Hampshire.
all of
You
these
were on the
highlights right now.
coronavirus task force.
Great job of
Were you
effective,
comfortable
efficient
with what
scoring
you
from these
saw at both of
spots.
those events?
I can't say that I wasn't there, so I didn't see it firsthand. And being part of the coronavirus
No
task
one
force,
else made as big of an impact in this matchup.
our message to everyone across America is it did 4 simple things, right? Wear a mask where you can.
Oh,
And
you ain't gonna say
and
nothing, huh?
socially distance.
Like what?
Wash your hands and try to stay out of loud crowds, especially inside. If you do those 4 things, I think we'll beat down the coronavirus even faster. So
What can you say about a guy
if you
like
can socially
this?
distance, then
Except
maybe
that
you
he
don't have to
missed the
wear
title of
masks.
this
But if you
segment.
can't,
He
then
was
wear it. I mean, it's really simple tools that we all can use to keep ourselves safe.
Absolutely. And these were 2 events held by the President of the United States who didn't not just encourage, but require the people in attendance to see him to do what you just said. Does that bother you?
Yeah, again, I don't know what the rules were for the convention.
Well, we saw the pictures. They weren't wearing masks. And they were very close.
But I don't know. I think you said that, but okay. But you said there were rules that there was some instruction not to wear masks.
No. That's not what I said. He didn't. I said he didn't require them to wear masks. There was no instruction not to wear masks.
Here are the remaining games.
Again, I can't comment because I don't know if it's true or false.
Okay, I want to ask you about something that you have on your website. The FEMA website is called Coronavirus Rumor Control. And the first recommendation to the American people is find trusted sources of information. In the last 6 months, the president has touted hydroxychloroquine. He suggested injecting disinfectants. He's repeatedly refused to wear a mask. He's had these events that I just referred to. He said initially that the virus will disappear. Do you think that the president falls under the category in your website of a trusted source of information on the coronavirus?
Again, I'm here today to make sure that we discuss the impacts to Louisiana, to Texas, on those disaster survivors that in some cases have lost everything. And they're depending on our partnership, locals, states, and the federal government to get them back in their homes, to get them, back to a normal life. That really is my focus today, and that's why I'm here today.
And you feel equipped to do that?
I feel absolutely equipped. The president acted quickly in giving both states emergency and major disasters. They have all the resources they need. We've incurred all around the past few days tens of thousands of responders, utility crews, Red Cross, Salvation Army, Team Rubicon, all down there trying to, again, deliver those critical resources to those impacted by Florida.
Well, Administrator Garrett, thank you for your work down in Louisiana and for the agencies there in Texas and everywhere else. There is a natural disaster, and we appreciate you coming on this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you. And bigger than the game, pro athletes across all major sports walking off for racial justice. I'll speak to one of the leaders of the movement, WNBA star, coming up next.
The WeatherTech Cup Pump can perform some amazing moves when partnered with a phone. Sized to fit most any boat. An optional extender for raised view. Can be custom fit very aluminum rods in multiple colors. There's even a version for doors and OV. Order your American-made cup phone and discount today at WeatherTech.com.
Yeah, maybe some people on the site right now. My digital source. You can watch every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, 6 p.m. live Eastern Time or anytime on demand. And make sure you never miss a show.
Well, it's almost 12 now.
Coronavirus. To get daily news updates in your inbox, sign up for the CNN newsletter. Coronavirus. Fact versus fiction.
We are feeling eyes and ears on the ground. This moment is unlike any other. On the trip, inside the 2025 race, Saturday at 9 on CNN. Intimate Stick. Intimate 24 to 5223 High-end skin to protect that comfort.
Mesothelioma. It's all we do. With 9 offices across the country, we are large enough to take on big corporations. There is no risk. Let us come meet with you.
We only take mesothelioma claims. Call us at 1-800-400-5921 or go to mesobo.com.
Our experience and the size of our law firms makes a difference. Call us at 1-800-400-5921 or visit mesobo.com. The United States of America with W. Kamau Bell at a special time, tonight at 9.
Welcome back to State of the Union. I'm Dana Bash. You have to imagine the likes of Muhammad Ali, Jackie Robinson, looking on good time. The amazing past few days in sports, players decided to delay their games to protest police brutality. And the inspiring women of the WNBA, they've been at the front of this social justice fight long before the tragic events in Kenosha. Joining me now is National Lopez, who is a Los Angeles Sparks forward and the president of the Basketball Players Association, who is coming off of 8 wins. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
You say what?
This really was an unprecedented week in sports. We've seen athletes protest.
Yeah, it's coming on. I got I got it recorded.
Snatching it out of the air.
Tyler Perry High Campaign.
Protector is a necessity in this game.
The new one. I got it thought to be called.
Didn't take long to get this crowd on their feet, and one of the most undervalued things in sports, the 13th man, the fans, if they get you going in the game, they can help you sustain that energy.
Oh, wait. That's not the same girl. Monique and Summer broke up. They got a divorce.
4 years ago, the WNBA punished players.
I kind of know why.
Gets a look. Can't hit.
Team officials are really following the players' lead here and showing support.
I kind of know why they got a divorce though, because it was all about her. She wanted to do the thing she wanted to do. She didn't want to do the thing Monique wanted to do.
For the player himself, that's what they practice every single day.
I don't think he'll fit for her anyway. He wouldn't fit for her anyway. She wouldn't have won for Monique anyway.
Add 2 points to the board.
She wasn't the right person for Monique anyway. I could tell because Summer, she like a wild girl. She was like too wild. You know what I mean? Wait.
Look at your reaction to something President Trump said Friday night about
Aha.
So many times you can tell the player.
No, I said she's not wild. She was too wild for Monique.
Look on his face, that was a look of a 3-point play. He's always going in, thinking more of the rim. Dragic against Murray. Slams it down.
I mean, she was way too wild for Monique, man. Monique don't need her. If I'm in there, I'd be happy I got rid of her.
Communicating to everybody his team needs a guard on the next play down the court. Rudy Gay to DeRozan.
Will be used to affect change in our communities.
You've got to get that one to go.
She was too good for Monique, I think. You think so?
Jay, this is getting scary fast. If you're in a defense, you have to deny him the ball. Maybe throw a box and one. Maybe throw a zone. Maybe
What, Summer?
throw the kitchen sink because he's putting on a show in the first quarter. Aldridge to DeRozan.
She didn't make enough money, I don't think.
Damar DeRozan.
Did she make enough money?
That one goes. That's what they need to do more of. Attack that basket. Hit him where it hurts. Muller into the front court. 10-6 our score. The screen sets him up for 2. When the ball's in his hands.
Shit, Monique got rid of her good. I bet he got rid of her. Right?
Murray will run the offense. To DeRozan.
Other WNBA players have really tried to amplify
Off the
Oh yeah.
Possession they were forced to take
Sure
a
is.
shot. This time they got to go. But they need to do something different to start creating more open look opportunities.
Sends it away.
Just incredible timing in that spot.
San Antonio.
By who?
Basketball. Dejounte Murray to DeRozan. Has a look.
Oh, he got to take. Oh.
Three now here in the first.
I know these mishaps happen defensively, but sometimes
I thought maybe make a good foul though. He knows from his dad.
maybe he hasn't found his rhythm yet. Don't let him get there.
To Butler.
He make a good. I think he gonna make a good foul. He knows from his daddy.
And a foul. He'll have a chance at a three-point play.
The defender was actually
He know how to dick up in his kid like his father did. Like his father. What about the other boy though?
Here comes some changes.
The other boy that was talking to Malik. What about him?
3% free throw shooter.
His best friend. His best friend.
The lead is up to 5.
So on that note,
Oh, Kevin on there.
fighting for equality, and we've been doing that not on just
Oh, you talk about
on
Kevin, the one his best
for
friend.
example, pay. We really fought hard.
I don't know where he at.
To change the fact that WNBA
He might be on there.
paid a fraction of what other professional athletes make. We recently got it so that players in the WNBA could receive full maternity.
You got it recorded already?
And things of that nature. So how does that experience, fighting to be heard and treated the same as your male counterparts, influence your broader fighting out?
Can't miss those.
It was kind of a precursor to what we're experiencing now. For the longest, I think that
And a
it's
throwdown.
time for us to mature
They
as
have
a
set the
league.
tone in
As
this one.
players,
I love when I see offenses come out in beast mode. You attack that paint, you get to the rim, inevitably the floor will open up for you to knock down some threes.
Jackson, and of course, having Kathy Angleton as accountable commissioner, we were able to put together and create a historical CBA because of the catalyst.
And he's going to the line to shoot.
Trust me, you want to avoid early foul trouble.
The future, in motion, and I'm really happy that we were able to create some type of change that women who aren't just athletes want to see also.
At the line.
Well, I appreciate you, and I'm a WNBA fan. I'm becoming much more of one now, frankly, learning about you and everything that you've done for women in particular. Neka Ogubike, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I appreciate it. And thank you for spending your Sunday morning with us. The news continues right now.
Jimmy Butler, 3 for 3. That's a perfect start.
He's been doing this for years. The physicality in which he plays, no one wants to see that. You're going to leave the game with black and blue bars all over your body.
Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining me. I'm Deanna Goldriga in for Frederica Whitfield. And we begin this hour with America in crisis. With just 65 days before the presidential election, bitter divisions and racial reckonings boil over once again into deadly violence. A warning, some of the video you're about to see is disturbing. The latest instance in Portland, Oregon. One man was killed amid protests there. So far, there have been no arrests. The New York Times reports the victim was wearing a hat from a far-right group called Patriot Prayer. That group was part of hundreds who participated in a caravan in support of President Trump. Their motorcade rode through the streets of Portland, which has seen demonstrations for 94 straight days. Overnight, President Trump praised those activists as patriots. And this morning, his chief of staff said that the administration is prepared to put an end to the violence.
I can tell you that we are ready, in fact the President is ready, to make sure that we provide whatever law enforcement and support that we can. And it's not this President who has said, hey, let's defund the police. What we always must do is make sure that the rule of law is there, not just because it's a rule of law, but because it creates a safer community, whether it's in Kenosha, Wisconsin, or anywhere.
Not that time.
All of this as we learn that the president is planning to make a trip to Kenosha, Wisconsin on Tuesday. It was just days ago that two people were shot during protests there. 17-year-old was now charged in those
Oh shit.
You're moving the ball, you're capitalizing on mistakes, and you really built a nice
Okay.
Here comes the screen.
Portland. Mike Baker is a correspondent for the New York Times and was on the scene of the shooting. Mike, thank you so much for joining us.
You see so many players quit on the play after the first time, but not him. He stayed on his hip. He fought back.
I want you to get that fast.
That's great.
I want to see if I can make a punt.
There was a huge rally of Trump supporters gathering there.
Okay, good. On the punt you get, nigga.
And their plan was to drive around the city, on the city's highway. It was sort of not really get into downtown, but drive around the city's highways. But a lot of that crowd broke up and did go downtown. And when they did, when they got
he was smothered and still gets it to go down. They're going to have to find answers defensively and quickly because he's carving them up in the first quarter.
And it really devolved from
19-footer.
And we're looking at that video that you
Nope.
filmed last night. Did you see any violence between these two groups escalate as the night went on? Was there any indication?
I predict we be in the payoff way.
Yeah, I mean, really, as soon as the both groups sort of got together, it was increasingly volatile throughout the night. I mean, we saw a video there of paintballs being fired from the back of pickup trucks and people in the crowd throwing things back. There were, at times,
What's going on? Damn, you can't make one shot, nigga. Damn, son. What's wrong with you?
And also, this is really kind of scattered throughout.
Talk about the game I play. That's a foul.
And a chance at the rain coming up. And I know there's so much excitement about the play.
Police showed up a few times.
Pay attention to the guy in the bench, the strength and conditioning coach, because this kid's putting in the
Oh, yeah.
every day.
Really became something that they could handle.
And talk about the police presence. How
convert the free throw.
Was it visible, and what role were they playing?
Mills in possession. His guys trail by 10. Rebound by the Heat.
No. I predict game.
Layup's good. Those are the types of shots you always strive for.
It's almost over. We in the third quarter.
Initiate the contact first. You bounce off the defender, which balances you at the rim.
To Patty Mills. He was wide open. And it's not going to be pretty when they watch the video. Someone's getting chewed out.
I mean, this is something everybody can relate to in their lives. This happened to me while doing broadcasts as well. Sometimes you're physically there, but mentally you're nowhere to be found. We obviously saw one of those same things happen.
Dragic. Curling inside. And the finish at the rim.
It seemed like they didn't have
Oh man, you're not supposed to be able to do that with that size. But in today's game, dexterity and mobility is off the charts for bigs.
Here comes the screen.
Y'all should get something happening because y'all are done.
Showing support for President Trump. What did you hear from them?
Give me that.
Verbal assaults at each other, but what was their goal in holding this event during such a volatile time in the city?
Get that out of here.
Right player.
Can't teach me. Dragic with the basketball. They felt like
Dragic. He's now shooting 5 for 7.
This is when I go back into player mode. Dude starts to try to have 40 points on me. I'm going to foul out. I'm going to start hitting him in places he's not used to being hit. I'm trying to do anything to throw him off his game.
Year of going into downtown Portland and having their say. Certainly I could see some people who had already brought guns to the protest, even in the suburbs. They were open carrying. They were, shouting down some of the activists who had come up
Knocks it down from mid-range.
And then, driving through
One of the
downtown.
things I hear all the great teams say in the huddle, they say 1, 2, 3, no mercy. Now it's time for you to go even harder on the defensive end.
And Mike, now knowing the president will be there Tuesday, do you anticipate that these groups, both those who are supporting Trump and those who are not, will only increase their presence with the president there on the ground?
I mean, this has basically been the third consecutive weekend where we've had some sort of right-wing conflict with left-wing groups that has involved guns. It was 2 weeks ago, one of the right-wing demonstrators fired 2 gunshots out of his vehicle, according to authorities, and has been charged in that case. Last weekend, we saw open fighting in the streets between some far-right
activists who were in town and
Jimmy Butler contested three, he buries it. This is a game of waves. As a defense, you have to recognize that they come and they go. That will not be the case all the time.
This happening, and you know, certainly some violence like we saw last night. This is going to be something that will end it.
Yeah, and then given the president's actions and statements on Twitter and in interviews, it does appear that this will be diffused once he arrives later on in this week. Mike, thank you so much for your reporting. It's really important for our viewers to say thank you.
Shows like this separate the good players from the
And I
great
also
players.
mentioned that CNN has reached out to police for detail on the victim, and any additional contact information for employees have not been released for
energy throughout the entire ballgame.
Now, all of this
on the painted area won't go down.
Law and Order campaign in the run-up to November. CNN Sarah Westwood is at the White House. So Sarah,
Am I your who? Wait.
saying about all of this latest outbreak of violence when we followed.
You got how you gonna poop?
Tweeted nearly 100 times or over 100 times.
You think he mind your thought now? Cause he gonna poop? And he do go poof. He come in the party, talk for a little bit, poof.
Free throws good as they continue to widen their lead.
That's what I do. Come in the party, talk a little bit, then go poof.
Looking to make something happen. Here comes the screen. Patty Mills.
Oh, how far do anyway?
We have over 200 anarchists.
The Spurs with 4 in the shot clock.
These are people that every single night
Has a look.
violent acts. And
Big jumpers off the mark. To Dragic. Fires the three. Man, he's shifty. Tough defensive assignment.
Talking about what?
Dragic with the answer.
And let me tell you how this one goes. It ain't no fun if the homies can't have some. Everyone's getting a piece of the rock.
Well, he must be sad.
Here's a chance from long range. Buries the wide open three. That's too easy.
But it was how he created the shot. As a defender, there's a tendency to stand up when you stare at the ball. Offensive player recognized that, continuously moved without the ball. Bang, that's how he set it up.
That's the end of the third quarter, and the Heat right now are feeling good.
You say what?
We will go in and discuss matters that we should have been taken care of 100 days ago. And in that letter, Portland's mayor said the administration's earlier dispatch of the Fed to Portland back in July couldn't matters worse.
How come Buck been cold? The Buck been really cold here.
The president is the president of every city in this country, not just those that are led by Republican mayors. But we also know the president is preparing to visit the scene of another deadly protest shooting in Wisconsin. What do you
This
think
may
about
sound
that?
cheesy, but sometimes you just need to sit
Beyond
back,
the president, how do you
get a
think
cup of popcorn,
Say what?
just enjoy the show, because that's what you're watching right now.
Not loose.
Her brother must be cold to her then.
Patty Mills. Runner here. Won't go down.
You look at the incendiary remarks that the president has made.
Doesn't get the bounce.
Yeah, I know.
He's probably not going to miss a lot of shots. But the more effort you can give, you want to try to tire him out. Take his legs away. Make him want to catch the ball. That's how you win the
Previous
defensive battle.
statements that the president made that he intends to come here to be helpful. And we absolutely don't need that right now.
Now it's unclear whether the president will be meeting with the family of Jacob's late wild in Kenosha. The White House was asked about that.
His guys hold a standing lead. Flushes it home. At this point, they're twisting in the wind.
Thank you so much.
Were you looking for a
President
response from
Trump
me?
is
Because I
set to
don't really
visit
know what else
Kenosha
there is
under
to
all
even say. I mean, is this even a
circumstances.
game?
Activists call
We
on
should
the
just
White
start
House to
packing up
denounce the
and
actions
getting ready
of
to
a
go right now.
17-year-old Trump
Trying to
supporter
cash in.
charged with
Wide
killing
open
two
look
protesters
won't go.
there. Listen to what
This
Wisconsin
game is
Senator
all
Ron
about the
Johnson
small
told Anna
victories,
Bass
though.
this
The
morning
execution
was
on that
asked if
play
he condemned
was
the
on
shooting.
point. You keep executing like that,
The
those shots are going in the
17-year-old
bin.
accused of committing those two murders was a Trump supporter.
It's a tragedy.
Do you condemn that?
It's a tragedy.
Do you condemn it?
It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy.
It's a tragedy,
The
but
entire
you-
situation is a tragedy.
Spurs have it.
Well, listen, I don't want to see any loss of life. It's a tragedy, and the way you prevent these tragedies is you support law enforcement.
Could be
He missed a short one there. You can't finish with your right hand on the left side of the rim. You actually have to take stuff it down with authority, showing you why he belongs here in this league with the best of the best. Efficient.
I don't want to see anybody lose their life. I don't want to see the violence continue. I don't want to see businesses burned down. I don't want to see economic destruction.
His
I
guys
condemn
down
it
big.
all.
He got a piece. You know, sometimes basketball can become a very beautiful thing to watch. During the regular season, things can get difficult. Energy can be low. The passion at times can even be lower because players are tired, they're fatigued. But today, it's all been good. They're putting in an absolute show with killer efficiency and tremendous stuff it down with authority. I know there's that old saying that says one man can't.
Painting murals on a lot of the walls, a lot of the stores here have been boarded up.
And that's one man carry 4 other players. His back has to be hurting. Another big time finish.
It could incite people to act. There's
over to the right side.
By the local
beyond the arc for 3. That's off the side of the rim. No good.
That it will provide further divisiveness.
You know, it reminds me of a story a legendary coach once told me. He said, if you ever get in a fight, you're not going to hit somebody with an open hand, correct? You'll probably break a finger. But if you hit somebody with a fist, what is that? That's 5 fingers working collectively together as one. That's how you deliver a knockout punch, and that's what we're seeing tonight.
Anytime the president goes somewhere, there's always concern, specifically with this president, with President Trump, that perhaps he can aggravate situations. Of course,
to shoot for San Antonio.
Only meeting with law enforcement, so we don't know what the family of
Message
Jacob Blake is actually
received, well
going
defended,
to meet
and
with
big-time
them.
coaching
And just to put
strategy
all
by the
this into
staff right there,
context,
utilizing your bench, keeping fresh legs on that
Trump
shooter
won
consistently throughout the course of the game.
By less than 23,000 votes, and he was the first Republican to win this county, Kenosha County, in 44 years, and of course, all this coming out.
Desperation shot here from half court. The Heat with the victory as they cruise to win a game that was never really in doubt. For Jay Williams.
We'll see. I mean, I think the next 2 days are going to really tell us how people are going to react to this.
Apparently things yesterday are still very tense, and the president wanted to ride on this law and order theme heading into the election. Sean Porcupine, thank you so much. And coming up, her father was brutally beaten by police decades ago, igniting a firestorm in the street. Now one of Rodney King's daughters is joining forces with a Major League Baseball star to fight for change. Plus, the battle brewing over how Congress is informed over election threats. Will Democrats subpoena the nation's top spy chief to testify? Then later, fighting back against coronavirus. A great-grandmother reunited with her family after 5 months in the hospital and in Newtown. She joins me live to discuss. That's straight ahead.
San Antonio Spurs Experience Boost has helped millions of people. How can I help you?
They ended up losing the game.
You will find too many people who are surprised when they hear that.
So I just boosted my credit score 28 points.
Boost your credit scores instantly. Please download the Experian app now.
Businesses are always making choices. Here's a choice you don't have to make. The largest 5G network, award-winning customer satisfaction, or insanely great value. Now with T-Mobile for Business, there's no compromise. Network, support, value. Choose any three. T-Mobile for Business. Ready when you are.
Is now a good time for a flare-up.
Enough, Crohn's.
For adults with moderate to severe Crohn's or ulcerative colitis, Stelara can provide relief and is the only approved medication to reduce inflammation on and below the surface of the intestine in UC. You getting on that flight? Back off, UC.
Stelara may increase the risk of infection, some serious, and cancer. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, sores, new skin growth, have had cancer, or if you need a vaccine. RPLS, a rare potentially fatal brain condition, may be possible. Some serious allergic reactions and lung inflammation can occur.
Lasting remission can start with Stelara. If you've been financially impacted by COVID-19, Janssen may be able to help.
As you get older, are you worried about staying sharp and alert? Forebrain from the Harvard-educated expert in force factors contains key ingredients to help boost memory, learning, clarity, focus, and more. Rush to Walmart to find Forebrain, a #1 brain booster in the vitamin aisle.
That does it for us. On behalf of the rest of the crew, good night.
Right. is 531 State Street. That's just next to City Hall. Where are my keys? My glasses? Head. Wait, how are you doing this? Focus Factor.
Focus Factor has been clinically shown to improve memory, concentration, and focus. It improves verbal learning and short-term memory by 44%. So get your Einstein on.
Yo! Wow, that's on it too.
Focus Factor. Feed your Einstein.
The Cleveland sale starts this Friday at Nordstrom Rack. Pop in or shop endless styles online at NordstromRack.com and take an extra 25% off items already on sale. Hurry before the rack is cleared. This Friday through Monday, only at Nordstrom Rack.
FanDuel's new best ball leagues make it easy to play season-long fantasy. Draft once and FanDuel will optimize your lineup each week. But to make it even easier,
What's up, Jeff? Now we in the payoff?
Coach Jeff Fisher to help Tony on game days.
I've studied the matchups, I've adjusted for 5 weeks and injuries, and I'm making paella.
But I'm allergic to shellfish.
You know I can't make it without shrimp.
Thank you, Jeff. Doing a great job. FanDuel's best ball. There's no easier way to play season-long fantasy. Leagues start at $1, and new users get a 20% bonus in your first deposit.
I've had a lot of time to think about what's important to me. I'm choosing words thoughtfully these days. Have you ever used a dating app before? On your workout hair?
Start something great. Watch.
There's nothing as unique as our eyes, which is why Essilor pioneers ways to make lenses as unique as you. Barrel Light for super sharp vision, Essential Blue for protection, and Resolve for reducing glare. 3 cutting-edge solutions with a single fluid lens. So whatever your needs, insist on Essilor. See your local Essilor experts and find the perfect lens for you. See more, do more, Essilor.
Book 2 separate qualifying stays and earn free nights. The open road is open again. And wherever you're at, Choice Hotels is there. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
Closed captioning brought to you by Mesobook.com. Mesothelioma, that's all we do. With 9 offices across the country, let us come meet with you. Call us at 1-800-213-8000.
A top House Democrat says it's possible the House may subpoena intelligence officials to testify before Congress on election security issues. The threat comes one day after the nation's top intelligence office informed Congress that it will no longer deliver in-person briefings on election security issues. It's a decision sparking outrage among many Democrats, including House Intelligence Chairman Adam Schiff, who was asked about the controversy today on CNN. Will you subpoena intelligence officials to appear in public in a hearing before the election?
That is certainly one of the tools that we may use. I can't speak for what decision ultimately we'll make. That's a decision that will have to go to the Speaker. But we will compel the intelligence community to give Congress the information that we need. We'll compel the intelligence community also to speak plainly to the American people. Because now this information, this intelligence, paid for by taxpayers, doesn't belong to Donald Trump. It doesn't belong to intelligence agencies. It belongs to the American people.
For more on this, let's bring in CNN National Security Correspondent Vivian Palama. Vivian, thank you so much for joining us. Great to see you. So why are Democrats so upset about the end of these in-person briefings, aside from just being another norm that's broken? And what is the Intel director saying about that decision?
Yeah, no, this certainly shatters precedent in the past. Obviously, the Office of Director of National Intelligence is insisting that Congress is still going to get some level of briefings. At least the House Intelligence and Senate Intelligence Committee will receive written and not in-person briefings. Now, traditionally, you would hear from the briefer in person, and Congress would then have the chance to ask questions and really grill them about some of the issues to ensure, essentially, that the administration is doing what it can, everything that it can to protect the integrity of the electoral process. And that is the issue at stake here. And so today you had Chairman Schiff of the House Intelligence Committee and Director of National Intelligence John Radcliffe stating their arguments on the Morning Sunday shows to essentially say that this is an issue that is becoming subject to partisan politics. Now, Adam Schiff, of course, arguing for in-person briefings and saying that that is really the best approach to take. Here's take a listen.
You can make it a written report, and you can say things in a written report that are not correct. And you can't be subject to questioning that. This is the problem now.
Now, Radcliffe's on Fox News this morning, and he said that he assures transparency in the process despite the fact that there are only going to be written briefings. And he said that essentially, at the heart of this are leaks that were a big problem, particularly with classified information. Take a listen.
I reiterated to Congress, look, I'm going to keep you fully and currently informed as required by the law, but I also said we're not going to do a repeat of what happened a month ago, when I did more than what was required at the request of Congress to brief not just the oversight committees, but every member of Congress. When I did that, Maria, I said, my only condition is that you treat this information with the respect that it deserves and you keep it private. And yet within minutes of that, one of those briefings ended, a number of members of Congress went to a number of different publications and leaked classified information, again, for political purposes, to create a narrative that simply isn't true, that somehow Russia is a greater national security threat than China.
Now, Bianna, I don't need to tell you that the intelligence has been well established at this point that not only did Russia interfere in the 2016 election, but that several countries, including Russia, China, and possibly Iran, are looking to somehow tip the scale for the upcoming election in 2 months. And so Democrats are essentially saying this is a real concern, and if the administration shares this concern, we should be doing more, not less, to really understand the problem.
Of course, and Russia is much more sophisticated at doing this and has been doing it for decades and has just done it 4 years ago in the previous election. What doesn't really make sense in Radcliffe's argument, though, is with regards to leaks, wouldn't a leak be even more prevalent and easier to make given that something is coming in written form as opposed to verbal?
That's absolutely right. And so there's really absolutely no way of assuring that this would change that calculus in any way. Leaks are entirely possible. And of course, Adam Schiff coming out today and saying that it was not only Democrats that may be responsible for leaks. He actually pointed the finger at some Republican officials as well, saying that they are also responsible for these situations. And so it's really hard to tell at this point whether this is going to change anything in terms of that outcome of the leaks being prevented. But what we do know is right now Congress is unable to ask questions to the briefer, and that does compromise their ability to really make informed decisions. With just 2 months to go until the election.
It's see this is yet again another victory for Vladimir Putin as we have another election cycle and more division within our government over that. Vivian Salon, great work from as always. Thank you so much. Well, just ahead, is the family of Vermont any step closer to seeing charges brought against the police officers involved in her shooting? The Kentucky Attorney General takes us inside the investigation.
Some companies still have HR stuck between employees and their data, entering data, changing data, more and more sensitive personal data. And it doesn't just drag HR down. There's inefficiency, errors, and waste. It's ridiculous. With Paycom, employees enter and manage their own data and see it easy to use. Visit paycom.com and schedule your demo today.
How can I help you? Sedan, mid-size,
Never go to the dealership again.
I want you to check something.
Room.com.
Check see the Joshua inside.
I'm walking up.
Just look.
I don't know what's going on.
That's why I trust these organizations.
You can't even fight.
That's why every 14 minutes, someone finds love online,
If
downloading
I
it,
open
and
my
starts
mouth.
rated X.
I still don't know.
When it comes to buying a home, they play cash and free. But you're a premium, and that's just as hard.
Just go sit down.
You're only the verified people from Rocket Money.
I don't know all phone and gone.
You gonna know when you get it.
I had it one.
Huh?
So you need to add to the bidding war? Rocket Handle. With Serpro, our expert cleaning service helps reduce the spread of viral pathogens. With the certified Serpro Clean Shield in your window, let your customers know that you are committed to a higher standard of clean. For a free quote, visit Serpro.com.
Excuse me, ladies. You're Martin Sheen. This presentation guy is going to help save your family hundreds of dollars on prescriptions with single care. Gotta go.
Oh my, you can touch again.
Excuse me, sir. Single care, this gentleman, please. Single care is like 5 minutes. Excuse me, go out. Help you save some money.
Take a vacuum, Martin.
Sorry. Take just 10 seconds to lower the cost of your prescriptions. Check your single care price today.
For the past 25 years, National has been monitoring patients in hospitals around the world so that doctors and nurses can make sure you get safe. As new challenges have arisen, we've grown to bring that same safety and support to the place that you want to be most. Together. Together in hospital, together at home.
This is an ancient identity. Do you say Persian or do you say Iranian?
How do you preserve your culture in a country full of misconceptions about who you are?
Iran is not a country of extremist people.
United States of America with WKL now at a special time, tonight at 9.
Promotional products. You can be certain
You can still make the sale the hard work because your team behind
we
you.
value your partnership.
I should be worried that you use the other feature. We see. We all put each other hard. Bring the kids from that one. Now, are you guys still packing your toner because that was the market happening? Yeah, I know your feet is on toner. We got they covered. And then some push, and then some packing of fish, you name it.
We don't want to use thoughtfully sourced organic fruits and vegetables. You need something really freaking delicious. Just Dr. Freeze.
Also, do you have a coach looking to tell about what might not be working for you? A coach like you mean? Yeah, we have another coaches in the kitchen.
It was a historic week across sports in America as athletes
I don't mean that exactly. You trying to say I'm cool. I already got the clothes. There are plenty of kids who don't even have one. You could be different. They should be behind you. And all I say is, let me teach you how to lie. Let me teach you what you taught me. Stick to what you know, right?
I know it's dear to your heart. Tell us about this partnership and the work the foundation is doing to make a difference.
Maybe you're right. I got caught up in the success. You can pay me anyway. I got a one. I got my
as Tranquility Counseling Services of Long Beach. We all have this
I better find out. Everyone who's there, you behind him,
the work that they're doing, it's been an honor to work with them. They're doing amazing things, him and his whole team. So we just wanted to jump forward and just create change, create legislative laws that will force America to prosecute police on police brutality and, you know, the whole movement as far as Black lives and, you know, valuing them.
And to go back and see the change that has occurred throughout the country since the time your father became a household name. Former NBA champion Craig Hodges wanted the Chicago Bulls and the LA Lakers to protest Game 1 of the 1991 finals in response to his beating. And he says that he was called crazy and too extreme at the time. And here we are today, nearly 30 years later. What does it mean to you to see NBA players leading professional athletes and standing in solidarity with people like you who are working to inspire change, especially at a time of a pandemic and other national strikes?
I was wondering when you would show up.
Because nowadays, you see more and more people speaking up as to when he did it. It was like he was considered crazy and things of that nature. But again, here we are in the same position, which we shouldn't be. We're here in America.
But you want me to
we're
give
still
you
here.
that
So that's why Surrounding King joined forces with, you know, the foundation so that we could create change, because we know that in unity and working together, we create change and, you know, legislative laws and things of that nature. Otherwise, we will never get anywhere. We'll still be rioting and protesting.
Keep people on their toes. What would you say? The more important the payoff field.
It's really crucial at times like these, at divisive times like this in the country. And I want to read a portion of the nationally televised address that President George H.W. Bush delivered following the acquittal of the men who beat their father and then the subsequent riots.
I gotta say, what on
he
your
said,
team?
let's talk
This
about the
is a
beating
team
of Rodney King, because beyond the urgent need to restore order is the second issue, the question of justice. Whether Rodney King's federal civil rights were violated. What you saw and what I saw in the video was revolting. I felt anger, I felt pain, I thought, how can I explain this to my grandchildren? What impact did that address and those words have on trying to bring the country together to heal? And what do you make of how President Trump's approach today is playing out?
Been thinking about the next game. Only way I know how to. Only way I know how to.
Because it's true. We live in a world that speaks values on.
Now you know what to do.
Peace. But
yet,
we're watching African-American men being slaughtered.
Alright, now we gotta fight for me. But can I think about that now? But can't think about that now. Focus on my next game, peace. Play for weekend out, man. It'll be hard to tell for the next game, knowing you got my number later.
To prevent this, to prosecute police officers, because they're not above the law, you know. So that's why it's important for us to unify and work together, so that we could create change. So that way it's not just protesting and looting. It's literally prosecuting these officers and getting them put in jail, and not just for show, like literally for what they're accountable for. They need to be held accountable.
And there does seem to be this false binary choice that one is either for law and order and civil obedience and respecting police versus focusing on injustice and inequality in this country and racial division. There is a great deal of mistrust between the police departments and communities that serve across America. I know you've partnered with the LAPD in the past to bridge the divide and to try to inspire unity. What needs to happen to make this trust national now, aside from just Los Angeles?
I'm ready for the
We need to have these uncomfortable conversations. We need to have these meetings of law.
Not at all.
Like I spoke before. It needs to be a law. It doesn't need to be pushed out.
I'll reach out to see if you have fucking ton about the payoff. So, like just love it, so I've been giving 100%, and I'm ready to go even farther in the payoff. What do I got to do to be the payoff you want
That's the
to
main
go?
ingredient to solutions, so we can move forward. Otherwise, we're still going to be where we're at today, nowhere.
Don't probably do anything different. This time is your field. You got that different. We don't need you to overdo yourself. We need you to start a company.
Portray and extend throughout the country through this initiative and this foundation and the work that you're doing. Dorothy, thank you so much.
I have make it world about. I only give it 100% trust.
Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron says that his office has received an FBI ballistic report tied to the police shooting death of Breonna Taylor. Taylor was shot and killed in her home by officers in Louisville during a squad force entry raid back in March. The AG's office is working to determine if the officers involved should be charged.
Count on me for whatever.
We have received that ballistics report. Now again, that is a critical
remember, started company. That's all I need. Understood. You don't have to tell me fine, but you did think I get see
to have a painstaking review of that information.
Ben Crump, who is representing the Taylor family, says he hopes the ballistics report leads to a speedy conclusion to the investigation. Up next, the FDA is reportedly considering fast-tracking a coronavirus vaccine before a critical step. Is that a dangerous move? plus 1,200 cases and counting at the University of Alabama. We'll hear from students about how campus life has changed. And coming up tonight on CNN, tune in early for special back-to-back all-new episodes of United States of America. W. Kamau Bell challenges misconceptions about Iranians living in America at 9 p.m. and then explores the communities of Skid Row in Los Angeles at 10 p.m.
Experience amazing.
Yep. Set on my helmet again. Set on my helmet again. You stay on stage, stay on stage. Stay for
When you're 50 plus, the important part isn't enough. It's the plus. Switching wireless service to consumer cellular, and these are just some of the pluses you can expect. Excellent reliability. We use the nation's largest premium networks. Plus, maximum value. You can get talk, text, and data for just $20 a month. Plus, superior customer support. We've been ranked #1 by J.D. Power.
These payers get a double in the fund. It was a great game. That was
See how much you can save at consumercellular.com.
It was a great game. It meant superhuman effect in bump. And that was the key. Double.
Try down with Premium Gentle. Just pour with the rinse dispenser and downing with soft clothes without sizing the tube. The towel wash for Downy is softer, fluffier, and gentler on your skin. Try Downy Premium Gentle, recognized by the National Psoriasis Foundation and National Eczema Association. Food delivery just got more online. Now the Grubhub gives you rewards when you order. Did you order tacos? Again? Boom! Rewarded with a perk like $5 off. Ordering dinner for the family? Voila! Rewarded with free delivery and a side of quiet. Grubhub gives you rewards for rewarding yourself with food.
Searching for a bumper cover replacement and your doors disappeared out of the freeway? Got it. What about that driver's side mirror that just fell off when you backed out of the garage? Got it. Or a taillight your brother-in-law broke with his bad golf swing? Got it. At CarParts.com, we know the most important part of all is the one you need to get your car back on the road. We carry a huge inventory of parts, even collision parts, with savings of up to 50% off. All delivered to your door and covered by a 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Get the right part for the right price right now at CarParts.com.
You paying the payoff? I mean, you paying a microwave?
Why would the
Oh, yeah. You don't want to do what? Oh, that why you saw it over?
Tommy Copper face mask, now available at TommyCopper.com.
As the U.S. nears another great milestone in its
The NBA playoffs have arrived. We kick it off.
the agencies may consider fast-tracking a potential vaccine before phase 3 trials are complete. Here with me now is Dr. James Phillips, a physician and a business Professor at George Washington University Hospital. Dr. thanks so much for joining us. First of all, tell us, what do these phase 3 trials usually consist of, and how concerned are you that there could be a vaccine available to the public without these trials?
This is a real one, a one-game series. Winner goes on, loser goes home. Got to put it all out there on the line here tonight.
Typically is one that around usually for vaccine 30,000 people or so are enrolled. And about half of those will receive the vaccine, and the other half will receive a placebo. But they'll
He's been doing this for years. The physicality in which he plays.
And then the scientists who are conducting that trial will then determine the number of people that become infected by that particular disease following the vaccine. That usually takes months, if not more than a year, to be able to.
So what?
Risk and how much protection.
Why you said that?
Athleticism and length. The timing almost has to be perfect. But pretty much there's no stopping him when he's around the ring. Leaving no doubt, slams it down. If you didn't dump that,
I know who's gonna win the payoff.
Possession. Levine to Young.
Who?
Holding the defense.
I ain't talking. Wait, are you saying Milwaukee gonna win the payoff? Are you saying Milwaukee gonna win the payoff?
If we do bypass phase 3,
Milwaukee Bucks.
From what Russia did when it rolled out their vaccine and received worldwide condemnation from.
Oh, I forgot. My bad.
I do want to differentiate the safety.
Wait, and if we gonna win the payoff? It ain't simple. That's all y'all team. Oh hell no. Oh, they gonna win the payoff? That's a good thing. You said if they make it to the payoff and win the payoff, you will like that team. Did you say that?
But whether or not we give them sufficient time to discover if there's safety issues. There's an entire network set up for vaccines where adverse events determine that level of safety. And I think that
so they gonna win the payoff and be on that?
issues we're dealing with right now as we approach distribution is public trust.
You think never?
One chance to get this right. And if you rush out a vaccine,
they suck, don't they?
Doesn't trust it. Already on top of
No deal.
We have to make this first time
You want me to go to that Nanaha and help them out and help them make it to the payoff? No. Hell no. Hell no. No. I can't. No. I want to go to the NACA than to go to them. I want to go to Utah than to go there.
We know that there are going to be some. But at what point do you determine whether or not it's a
no deal.
Because in certain players' mind, it doesn't matter if they're amongst the trees or not. They're always going to be the giant.
Yep.
Thaddeus Young matched up with Jimmy Butler.
I don't like that 9.5 for real.
Nothing going here on that drive.
I mean, they could be a better team, but they get sucked. They don't fight. They do not fight.
Easy two on the other end after the turnover. That probably will be the last time we see a dunk from him tonight. Maybe sometimes just to send a message.
They don't fight.
Don't let it be so easy.
They let their opponent win all the time. All the time.
Not that time. Another follow. Still no good. Jimmy Butler, 2 for 2. That's what you want. We talk so much about who are the MVP candidates, but there are other guys who are so valuable to their teams. And Jimmy Butler at the forefront of that list.
Golden State gonna get better though. I think Golden State.
Most valuable mentality. There are certain players that approach the game with a certain mindset every single day, that they will do anything
What, go to say?
He plays with his heart and soul every single possession every night, and he will leave it on the court. That means he can win the ball.
Missed the foul shot. The whole reason he shut down to begin with was because of this crazy, contagious little pandemic.
Personally, I did not think that the University of
Oh, shit! Damn! My dude got bought that ball. He ducked the ball. He got bought that shit, too. You saw that?
Feed the big fella. Point to the passer. It's so good when you get everybody.
He got bought that ball like it was naked.
They'll run the court faster, and guess what? They'll set harder screens because they're actually in the game.
Compared to some of our other peer institutions, such as the University of Alabama.
Yeah, motherfucker.
Most students are socially distancing.
Get that shit out of here.
Just incredible timing on that side.
Most people are wearing their masks. And the truth of it is that campus is truly empty right now.
I had my first
Chicago with 4 to shoot.
Yeah, motherfucker.
And scores on the step back. 2 points. Take them anywhere.
He's sitting in a lecture hall listening to our professor for the first time. And it was a little bit sad. Not every day it is what it is, but we just...
Get out, you better get motherfucker.
That's called a grown man play, Ed. Someone's trying to get featured on Sports Center tonight.
I dare y'all probably make a shot. I dare you. Come on, come on. Come on, get it go. Come on. I want you to. Come on. Get 5. Get 5. Come on, come on. I want here. Come on. Give me that motherfucking ball.
Like that intensity on that play. That's how you actually dig in the dirt and do your job with a defensive end. Goes reverse to lay it in. I'm not sure if he's part of the Jelly fam or not, but this young player knows how to adjust mid-flight, and he finished that shot with some crazy English.
Porter, guarded by Jimmy Butler. Here comes the screen. He get control.
Damn, son, you got that ball filled.
Butler to Waiters. Off the assist.
As a player,
did somebody say field party? Because I guess somebody got filled.
The same way you played the last couple of days of practice. You're moving the ball, you're capitalizing on mistakes, and you really built a nice lead.
To Levine. Here comes the screen. Has a chance. The screen sets him up for 2.
The pro game has really come down to PNRs. Let's see how the defense adjusts.
No good. No daylight. Great defense.
You see, this is something that everybody has, but some people choose to use it or not. I'm glad you choose to use effort on getting around those screens.
Butler. Count the basket, and it could have been more. No whistle.
But when you play for each other and not just for yourself, that's when great things happen. You essentially lose yourself in what the team is trying to do.
This game over.
Butler up against Porter.
There's way more ways to renovate your home. From inspiration to installation.
Count the basket.
You know what? It been over.
Simple is the best way.
Bulls with the run. To Chris Dunn.
They said the game been over. Get that out of here.
Oh, big man doing work right there.
Get out of here.
You see, Ed, when it comes to evaluating first-round picks, we tend to talk a lot about their offensive capabilities. But this young man is showing you that the defensive skill set should never be overlooked. Great block.
To Markkanen.
This my dude fought right here.
Sizing up Butler. Terrific vision. He's going to the free throw line to shoot.
I don't know about that one, Ed. I always thought your hand was part of the ball.
Thaddeus Young has got 2 shots coming. For his career, 67%. Nope, first one does not go. Missed the second. Over.
We have local offices throughout the U.S., and there's no risk to you. Visit really really is all we do. Call us at to Butler. And count the basket.
Ooh, he teased me a little bit right there. But see, I like that. That's called a great entertainer. Always leaving me on the edge of my seat.
Marketing to Chris Dunn. And the basket good for Rib.
That's lunch pail business right there. Don't worry about the no call. Keep powering through.
Butler into the front court. His guys holding a big lead. To the rim. Lays it up and in.
Showing you why he belongs here in this league with the best of the best. Efficient scoring after looking at him.
He got the basketball. To Young.
Prevent and relieve muscle cramps. You suffer from muscle cramps.
Can't miss those.
Big kudos to the defender. It seems like his mere presence in the paint was enough to make the offensive player miss the shot before he even got off the ground.
Butler to bring it up. His guys hold the commanding lead. Oh, Jay, he commands the paint this time down.
Man down, man down. You gotta get up and contest the shot.
To Chris Dunn.
But less than 2 weeks after returning home, she was in the hospital after testing positive for COVID-19.
No good. Looked like he may have gotten
For
him
3
there.
months, she fought the virus in the hospital, not giving up, not letting it win,
defended by the
despite being
former
placed
Hoya.
on a ventilator at one point. And finally,
Count the basket.
after
2
2
more
more months
points
of
in the paint.
rehabilitation, she was
You know,
released
from a
and
point guard
allowed to see
perspective,
her family
one of the
again.
things that I
And
learned
have
when I
a good
played
day,
in the
Marie Jean-Pierre,
league was that the more I was willing to give the ball up,
Marie,
the
thank
harder
you
other
so
players
much
were willing to
for
run
coming
to
on
their
with us
spots.
today.
The harder the bigs
Your
were
story
running to
is
the
an
rim, the
inspiring
harder
Get that shit out of him.
running to the three-point line because they knew they could be active recipients. And when they caught the ball, they knew exactly what to do.
To Young. What has this experience
Get that shit out of him.
Right player.
Can't teach height.
Get that shit out of here.
Man, you love the will and the want.
They mad. They mad, boy. They mad. They mad at my dude, but
Butler against Porter.
These doctors and medical staff are just amazing, and they are heroes. That is true. I know that
my dude, now he mad.
to learn to walk and talk again. Can you tell us about that and how difficult that was?
Oh my God.
Jimmy Butler for 2. Deep 2 there, won't go. Nice follow-up on the dunk there. He was ready right at the tip.
What a first half he's having. He came out of the gate, attacked, found ways to get to the rim. Now look how easy the game is coming to him.
To Porter. Otto Porter. He's 3 of 5. 60% shooting from the field.
Everything about Porter is so low-key. No social media, and he's one of the few high-caliber NBA players that manages to stay out of the public eye while producing at an elite level in a number of categories.
They pushed you.
Oh, great pass. Setting up the basket.
When the ball's in his hands, we all knew what was going on.
Bulls with the basketball. To Porter.
That's what we call tough love, I guess, right? And we move on
The
to your
drive.
family.
Right to the basket.
That back up. You have 6
Knocks it
children,
down from
11
mid-range.
grandchildren, I believe, 9
Don't see the
great-grandchildren.
read. Be
The
the
whole
read.
time you were sick, you couldn't see any of them except from behind the glass.
Looking to make
How
something
difficult?
happen.
How difficult was that?
The jumpers off the mark. On the follow. Way to stay with it.
2
And
points.
now,
Take
now
them any
you're
way you
home,
can
now
get
we've
them.
seen you with them, you were crying when you were reunited. We want to hear about how it felt when you left. We can see through your emotions there in that video.
Get that out of here.
I'll tell you what you don't see. It's rare that you see young players dig their stakes into the ground and say, this is my territory. He's owning the paint.
Well, Marie Jean-Pierre, you are an
How many-
inspiration for anybody who's going
I got
through what
8
you're
bucks.
going through, watching this right now. You're sending a message that they can be fighters and fight through this as well.
Missed it.
Thank you so
How'd
much
that
for
not
joining
go
us. We're
down?
so happy you're okay and that you're reunited with your loving
A
family.
shot at the buzzer. It's halftime here in Game 1. Let's get you to our NBA Live studios in Orlando and hand it over to Jalen Rose for our EA Sports.
He got 8 balls. Wait, my dude got 8 balls.
Address is 531 State Street, that's just next to City Hall. Where are my keys? My laptop? Wait, how are you doing this? Focus Factor.
Focus Factor has been clinically shown to improve memory, concentration, and focus. It improves verbal learning and short-term memory by 44%. So get your Einstein on.
Yo! Wow! That's on it too.
Focus Factor.
And it's brought to you by EA Sports.
Your house brought you together. Like, really together. And all that together is great. Together with more great. Is better. With Rocket Mortgage, you get personalized loan options, closing costs, and tax estimates all in real time. So when you need to know what it takes for a home to fit your budget and your family, Rocket
Hi, I'm Braylon, and this is my story. I was born with one arm, but I didn't let that stop me. China's Hospitals for Children showed me that I can do anything. Now I can play softball. Now I can ride my bike. Because of China's Hospitals for Children, I can do all of these things. Nothing is gonna stop me.
Because of people like you, China's Hospitals for Children has helped more than 1.3 million kids, regardless of their family's ability to pay. Your kids will never
some credit has to go to their opponents for the way they move the ball.
Because
They've
of
been
you,
taking advantage of it.
Anything, like riding my bike,
like playing the piano, dancing my heart out,
putting on makeup,
playing baseball with my dad, doing a cannonball.
I'm ready to skip ahead just for this guy player.
But we need your help.
You can tell
You
he's
help
on
her
his
go
way to a
online.
special
You
game.
help make stories like mine possible. That's pretty cool.
But there are so many more kids that need our help.
Will you let kids just like me know you care?
They talk about kids.
63 cents a day.
About
Will you join us and help your children?
kid care.
when you get to them, we'll say this adorable,
You know the ones that they handicapped.
and a reminder of the love you gave to a kid just like me.
Because of generous people like you, we see life change every day.
When you see that look kind of thoughtful, you're joining with thousands of other who are helping kids
Yep.
just like us.
Your gift helps me be a kid. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias. Thank you for giving.
Please call or go online now. If our plan is open, call again or give right away at loveshriners.org.
This is stupid. We gotta work together. You're right.
Imagine a heart supplement so effective it could replace 5 other supplements and guarantee your best checkup ever. Introducing Omega Q Plus Max, the super supplement.
Very efficient and making an impact. He's 3 for 3. A 2-time gold champion. I love watching Zach Levine play. But you can't become obsessed with just attacking the rim. You're going to continue to expand your game and really give Chicago that good guard that they haven't had since Steve Rose.
The talk is cheap, so we'll put our money where our mouth is.
I'm Dr. Steven Sinatra, and I spent over 2 years developing
Gets a look.
I am so sure you'll experience a difference. I guarantee your best checkup ever.
That's right. Some of your
These
best
guys
blood
leave
pressure,
your early
cholesterol,
stages
blood
to
sugar,
quarter.
increased
And
energy,
throws it
also
down.
money.
I know there's that old saying that says one man can't beat 5, but we're watching one man carry 4 other players. His back has to be hurting. Another big time finish. Porter to Mobamba. Finishing inside the paint on that one. Underutilized. Am I getting my point across? Let's see more of it. Slams it down. This rookie is a high flyer. He brings that kind of pro-am vibe to the
And we begin this hour with another protest turning deadly as the nation comes to grips with the fallout of the racial injustice. Those protests are increasingly becoming a flashpoint in the race for president, with the election now just 65 days away. Last night, a man was shot and killed in Portland, Oregon during protests. A warning, some of the video you're about to see is disturbing. The New York Times reports that the victim was wearing clothing affiliated with the far-right group Patriot Prayer.
CNN has reached out to Portland police for details on the victim and any additional suspect information, but they have not released any details yet. The victim was a part of a group of Trump supporters rallying against Black Lives Matter demonstrators. Overnight, President Trump praised his supporters as patriots. All this as we heard that the president is planning to make a trip to Kenosha, Wisconsin on Tuesday. It was just days ago that 2 people were shot during protests there. The 17-year-old
he don't care. He can't get fired out anyway.
The president will speak with law enforcement and survey some of the damage from the protests. Last hour, I spoke with New York Times correspondent Mike Baker. He was at the scene of the demonstration.
Wait. Hey, kid, he don't care. He can't get fired out anyway.
Not only were you documenting it, you were actually
good bounce back. Hits the second. It's a 1 of 2 trips.
Yeah, so it really started out in the suburbs. There was a huge rally of Trump supporters gathering there. A lot of people with trucks and flags on their trucks gathering. And their plan was to drive.
He'll have a chance of a 3-point play. He should get some kind of acting award. That's a great sell by the offensive player. But guess what? The ref's big, and that's the game.
Downtown. And when they did, when they got there was a growing crowd of protesters who were opposed to the presence of this large Trump rally in the city, and it really evolved from there.
Looking at that video that you filmed last night, did you see any violence between these 2 groups escalate as the night went on? Was there any indication that it could end in gunfire?
To widen their lead.
Yeah, I mean, it really, as soon as the both groups sort of got together, it was increasingly volatile throughout the night. I mean, we saw a video there of 8 balls being fired from the back of pickup trucks, and people in the crowd throwing things back. There were at times
blocking so many shots only gives you a perimeter that much more confidence to really apply more pressure.
I mean, there was a growing tension.
This type of game needs to be celebrated. This is the type of culture that is fostered when you play with unselfish players. When you give up a little bit of yourself and you make your teammate look great, that's the difference between winning and losing. So when you see these guys smiling, when you see them giving each other high fives, that's because of the energy that was created from the pass. The pass is one of the most brilliant things we have in this game. Oh, he sent that one to the 3rd row. He was locked in. That was impressive.
How present was it? Was it visible? And what role were they playing, if any?
Yeah, I mean, really, when the first part of the caravan showed up downtown, there were some protesters that went out on one of the bridges and blocked.
Here's one of the biggest secrets as we move into this new age of basketball, especially in the draft room. You have to draft players with size and length. That's the biggest deterrent for any team offensively.
Yes, and the foul. And a chance at 3 coming up.
And I love the smile on the face of the offensive player. Sometimes luck is on your side. I don't know how that shot went in, and one.
But they were outnumbered, obviously.
I mean, we're talking about hundreds of counter-protesters and hundreds of trucks with Trump flags on them and going in all different directions. So it seemed like they didn't have the capacity to sort of spend the entire time period in downtown, keeping all those different sort of factions apart from each other.
And it is my understanding that you followed this motorcade that was showing support for President Trump. What did you hear from them? I hear some people exchanging verbal, I guess, assaults at each other, but what was their goal in holding this event during such a volatile time in the city?
So in talking to them, they really wanted to just show their presence. They felt like Portland's been a place that has been controlled by the protesters over the last few months, and they're supporting the president and wanting to go into Portland to demonstrate that. And I think for some demonstrations, there wasn't a fear of going into downtown Portland and having their say. Certainly you could see some people who had already brought guns to the protest, even out in the suburbs. They were open carrying. They were, shouting down some of the activists who had come up to demonstrate against the protests. And then,
it just seems like nobody can stop him but him. Once he's found his offensive swag,
they were ready for
that boy's
some sort of conflict with one of those.
And Mike, now knowing that the president will be there Tuesday, do you anticipate that these groups, both those who are supporting Trump and those who are not, will only increase their presence with the president there on the ground?
Really
this is basically been the third consecutive weekend where we've had some sort of right-wing conflict with
man, they are just continuing to pour it on. But the one thing we know about in this league, you have to make sure that you continue to play with energy because leads can evaporate quickly. Dunn shot that misses. See, the defender did a really good job. He stayed down. He didn't
open fighting in the streets between some far-right activists who were in town and the same left-wing protesters. And in that case, you had one of the right-wing folks brandishing a gun. So this has been 3 consecutive weekends of this happening, and certainly some violence like we saw last night. It seems like it's going to be something that would end it.
Thanks for your time. Thanks for setting that up. Well, after the protest unfolded in Portland, President Trump was tweeting. Between midnight and 8 this morning, he tweeted or retweeted nearly 90 times. And that has some officials worrying that he may be fanning the flames. CNN's Jeremy Downey is at the White House. And Jeremy, what is the administration saying about all this protest? Because it's not as if he may be fanning the flames. It appears that's exactly what he's doing.
this game is all about playing mind.
It's like a fair, I mean.
He is not urging for calm. He is not trying to de-escalate the situation that is happening in Portland or in Kenosha, Wisconsin, for that matter. Instead, what we saw is the president in 89 tweets, most of them focused on trying to amplify this content of conflict between the president's own supporters and the Black Lives Matter protesters, specifically in the city of Portland. And the president is also here clearly trying to project strength. He is focusing on talking about law enforcement, calling the Black Lives Matter protesters thugs, and suggesting that once again a federal intervention here with National Guard troops is what is needed, not something that de-escalate the situation. And that is where Adam Schiff, the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, comes in, saying that the president here is fanning the flames of division. Listen.
Not that time.
The president is willfully fanning the flames of this fire. As his own advisor Kellyanne Conway said last week, they believe the fire is helpful to them. And the president is only motivated by one thing, what's the result for him. And he sees this violence and his ability to agitate the world as useful to this campaign.
Say what?
And there is no question beyond that the president does see the violence that is happening in some of these cities as useful to his campaign. As Adam Schiff said, the president has made them secret. We saw it all last week during the RNC, the president talking about law and order. And of course, the irony here is that the president is trying to use the violence that is happening in some of these cities to try to associate that with his presidential rival,
the physicality in which he plays.
Oh, you still working my guy lately?
In Donald Trump's America, Mark Meadows' response was to say that most of Donald Trump's America is peaceful, and he argued that it's the president who is the one offering the federal support here, not the one refusing it as the mayor in these duties. Again, there is certainly a dichotomy there and an irony to the fact that the president is trying to use this to paint his rival Joe Biden as weak on crime, weak on law and order.
This type of game needs to be celebrated. This is the type of culture that is supposed to, when you play with unselfish players, when you give up a little bit of yourself, when you make your teammate look great, that's the difference between winning and losing. So when you see these guys smiling, when you see them giving each other high fives, that's because of the energy that was created from the past. That's one of the most brilliant things we have in this league. Straight on three, and for Moser, that ends the third quarter as the Heat enjoy some breathing room.
Wisconsin on Tuesday, and that's just days after 2 people were killed there. What are you learning about that trip? And what does it mean regarding tension on the ground as he approaches?
Yeah, the president's going to be entering an extremely combustible situation here, and it is hard to see how Donald Trump, who is not somebody who has chosen to really step into that consoler-in-chief role that we see previous presidents play during times of national tragedy and division.
Reminds me of the story of legendary coach once told me, he said, if you ever get in a fight, you're not going to hit somebody with an open hand, correct? You'll probably break a finger. But to hit somebody with a fist, these athletes, 5 fingers working collectively together as one. That's how you deliver a knockout punch, and that's what we're seeing tonight. Beyond the arc for 3, well defended. And look, sometimes you don't have it going every single night. Maybe utilize yourself as a decoy and get some teammates involved with the pass. Doesn't have the touch, no good.
To be showing up in
It's easy. Force guys into low percentage shots. That's the reason why we're big into stats. It was all provided to you before the game was scattered.
Screen coming. Plan to visit might make things worse.
Driving right to the basket. And he's fouled. Couple of free throws coming up, Jay. Just because a team's winning doesn't mean the refs are going to put away the whistle. Play rate.
Come on, you can get mad. How do you get the hell no?
When you need to wear a mask, why not make it comfortable?
Can't connect on the first free throw.
That's why our customers take this.
Knocks down the second after missing the first.
Adjustable ear loops, customizable nose spray, and bringing chin pocket, patented copper synergy for particular benefits, and 100% machine wash.
Stuffs it down with authority. At this point, they're twisting in the wind. Were you looking for a response from me? Because I don't really know what else there is to even say. I mean, is this even a game? I mean, we should just start packing up and getting ready to go right now. To market it. Not a piece. And that's light work for a guy with his ability. Got it. And when people talk about vision, people usually talk about the vision to make the pass. But how about
You go eat out of your plate.
before the pass?
I might say my face.
That's next level.
You get out of yo?
How can I catch people out of position defensively? That's what we saw in the pass possession. From the painted area, won't go down. And counted at the rim. Because in certain players' mind, it doesn't matter if they're amongst the trees.
No, not really.
To Levine. Won't go down. Defenders lucky he wasn't called. To Butler. Short jumper stays out. Can't connect from inside. It's the Heat with the possession. He throws it down. Well, we got a chance to firsthand watch something be created. I think we just watched everything to make the passes. I've never seen something like this before. It was so contagious. Everybody started.
You can't eat the burger?
And it ultimately led to the other teams to lose. That's an epidemic.
Say what?
Nice finish at the rim. Oh, he teased me a little bit right there. But see, I like that. That's called a great entertainment.
Thanks for the Abercrombie.
Always leaving me on the edge of my seat. Marking it to Zach Levine. The drive, right to the basket. He takes it right at them and scores. Quick to fill in there. Attack mode isn't a switch that you can just turn on and off. He needs to do more of that. We need to see him penetrate, get into that lane, and create. Cashes in for 2. Cool.
Oh, he said he might bang from 5. He might bang from 5. If they could, if they could, he gonna bang from 5. So.
Rejected.
Yeah, I said refrigerator. What about it?
Oh, nice find for the basket.
I got 14 bucks. I just got 15 rebounds and 14 bucks. Damn. And 55 points.
The Heat with the victory, and they're moving on to the second round of the NBA playoffs. For my partner Jay Williams and our entire crew, I'm Ed Curran. This is the NBA playoffs on EA Sports. Find out more at EASports.com. Until next time.
We're open and ready to help your small business any way we can. Everything for small business. And of course, shipping. The UBS store.
What?
The Heat have have advanced to the next level, but the goal remains the same. Win an NBA championship.
You said what?
These guys are doing it one by one.
Activists calling the White House to denounce the actions of the 17-year-old.
Here are the guys who put up the most points.
You can eat it.
CNN Shimon Lopez joins me now from Connecticut. And Shimon, does the president plan to do anything to try to unite?
You tear that burger up, son.
I got a sense they didn't expect for their offseason to start just yet. I know what the feeling's like. It can be tough, but it's all
For a minute, be gone.
Who knows what they'll be like next season? It'll be interesting to see. What you see here is how the majority of the points were scored for the Chicago Bulls.
That they can ignite something, and they're trying to keep the peace, and they've been very peaceful here for the last few days. One local leader saying that they do not want to
Man, get your damn burger. It's halfway gone anyway.
To not just take good shots, but great shots. That's what
You keep saying, hold on. You tear that burger up. That means you can eat the burger.
All right, I can eat the burger. Okay.
That's all you had to say.
I want to make sure my job was okay for me to eat. John.
If it wasn't okay, mean you'd have been shopping all night. You would.
Statements that the president made that he intends to come here to be helpful, and we absolutely don't need that right now.
And this all comes, just to give some context to all of this, as the November election approaches. Trump won this county, Kenosha County. He was the first Republican in over 44 years to win this county, and of course,
every player that makes it to the NBA is a great athlete. But even the best players have their off nights. Today was just one of those days
as this visit approaches here on Tuesday. Deanna?
Clearly, politics front and center for the president. Shimon Lopez, thank you so much. And joining me now to discuss is Christy Clark-Pujara, a historian and Afro-American Studies professor at the University of Wisconsin's Madison campus. Thank you so much for joining us. She's also the author, we should note, of Dark Work, The Business of Slavery in Rhode Island. So let me begin. Some people in this country have the misconception that racism is primarily a Southern issue. We're seeing this play out in Wisconsin this week. How important is it to understand the many ways in which white supremacy can be deeply rooted throughout the country, not just in the South?
I think it's essential that we understand that racism never was just a Southern issue, that it was a national one. And the misconception largely comes from the fact that most people think of slavery as being a Southern institution, of race-based slavery in particular, when in fact it was a national one. And I always like to talk about specifics when I remind people of that. So in 1827, a man by the name of Henry Dodge moved to the Wisconsin Territory then, wasn't a state yet. Dodge becomes the first territorial governor of Wisconsin. And his name is all over monuments, parks, buildings in the state. Very well known. What isn't well known is that Henry Dodge brought 5 enslaved people with him from his home state of Missouri: Toby, Jim, Lear, Joe, and Tom, who he held illegally enslaved in the Wisconsin Territory for over 11 years. Slavery was supposed to be prohibited in the Northwest Territory, but scholars have been saying for decades at this point that that ban on slavery wasn't with the paper it was written on. And Henry Dodge held 5 people in bondage 2 years after he became territorial governor. And wasn't contested much in the state. That race-based slavery operated even in places that we don't think it operated, like Wisconsin.
And one of the reasons why it's so important to know the history is to understand what's playing out today, right? And it gives us a better sense of what we're seeing on the ground. We're so familiar with these kind of protests in major U.S. cities, but when we talk about a city like Kenosha, for many Americans, it's the first time that they've really known much about it. And you say that racial tensions and issues with police had existed there long before the Jacob Blake shooting. How important is it to do the unrest we're seeing through that lens?
I think it's critical. And when I say long before, I'm not meaning 10 years, 20 years, or even 100 years. I'm talking that white supremacy has been part of the bedrock of this place that we now call Wisconsin since its very formation. And that is not my opinion. It is just a statement of fact. We can look at the founding document of the state, the 1848 Constitution, that privileges white men above anything else when it came to suffrage. So if you were a foreign-born white man in Wisconsin and after 1848, and you were not a citizen, but you declared an intention to become a citizen, were over the age of 21, and have lived in the territory or state for a year, you could vote. Black men could not. And this ban on black men voting was ideological. There were less than 1,000 black people in the state. But whiteness and citizenship and belonging and worthy settlement, and I say settlement in quotes because many people work here and the area was already settled. But the idea of belonging, of citizenship, was so conflated with whiteness that you didn't even need to be a citizen. You just needed to be white. Black men were explicitly banned from voting, and that was not overturned until 1866. When Ezekiel Gillespie successfully sued for the right to vote. So white supremacy is something that has been part of the Wisconsin project from the very beginning.
And yet, white and black cohesiveness, living side by side, working together as neighbors, is so important to get us through these next crucial months and years ahead. And you talk about what we see on the ground now in these protests. You see many white faces. You see black elected officials. What is the takeaway that people who see this transformation and this change in progress of the group are, yet even though there's so much more work to be done, what should the takeaway be from where we are right now? And should we be inspired by the multitude of ethnicities that we see on the ground and on the street?
I think that we have to remember that it's complex. So white supremacy I just kind of laid out there in the, race-based slavery and founding document of the state. It did not go uncontested. So Wisconsin was also a place that refused to enact the 1850 Fugitive Slave Law. It's also a place where a freedom seeker, sometimes they're referred to as runaway slaves, was broken out of the jail and spirited away to Canada. These things have always been contested in our histories. The problem is we don't have a full story, and it seems like things come out of nowhere. We are capable of pulling together. I could go right back to black suffrage that I talked about earlier. When Ezekiel Gillespie went to the polls to vote, he had done this on many occasions. The last time he brought a white abolitionist with him by the name of Sherman Wheat, who was a white abolitionist lawyer. Right? He helped us buy a suit. Like, we can look to the past to see why we still have such disparity, but we can also look to the past to see where we can correct those disparities, and that we have always been fully capable of recognizing humanity in one another and working towards a better union.
And that's why it's so important to embrace that potential for the union, and that's why it's important to have historians like you and professors who keep teaching us about our past so we can learn more about our future. Christy Carpenter, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Thank you for having me. Well, some New Yorkers say they were tricked into appearing on tape at the Republican National Convention. You'll hear from them coming up next on Christina and Nature.
FanDuel's new best ball leagues use next season offense. Draft once, FanDuel will optimize your lineup each week. With coach Jeff Fisher to help tune.
I've studied the matchups, I've adjusted to 5 weeks in, and I'm making it by I can't make it without shrimp.
I don't need I got
FanDuel's best ball is no easy.
I don't need that. I got my feet.
League server. And new users get a 20% bonus on your first deposit.
Jade is about to buy her first home, and with a verified approval from Rocket Mortgage, she has the strength to compete with cash offers. When you need an edge in the bidding war, Rocket has it.
Home Advisor has been helping people get every kind of home projects done for over 20 years. Perfect for when you have a thing or two that needs fixing. Use Home Advisor and we'll do everything to fix your everything.
Some pain in life can be easily avoided, like the pain Americans get from overpaying on car insurance by $21 billion. Use the Zebra. It compares top providers and can save you hundreds of dollars. Avoid the pain. Compare for free at the Zebra.
We support memorable moments, concentration in hectic times, and focus to win the day. Unlike ordinary memory supplements, Nereva's clinically proven ingredients yield 5 indicators of brain performance. Take the Nereva Challenge with our money-back guarantee.
T-Mobile and Sprint have merged. Now, T-Mobile has thousands more locations across the country, more towers, and more coverage than ever before. T-Mobile is America's largest 5G network with more 5G coverage than Verizon
all day if I want to.
Experience it now.
Yep.
Best deal ever.
I ain't got to have no fuss. I won't have no fuss out of you, but you might talk to your friends. That's about it.
NBA playoffs on Sports. We're ready for tip-off, and these fans are as well. It's their home team getting set to match up with a very formidable opponent. Alongside Jay Williams, I'm Ed Cohen. This crowd is hyped, and you look at their guys coming in. They appear to be fired up and ready to go. And I'll tell you what, this is going to be a good one.
And you've heard about one-and-dones in college basketball. But this is a real one-and-done. A one-game series. Winner goes on, loser goes home. Got to put it all out there on the line here tonight.
Stuffs it down with authority. So far, so good.
Didn't take long to get this crowd on their feet. And one of the most undervalued things in sports, the 13th man, the fans. If they get you going in the game, they can help you sustain that energy.
Gets a shot up off the mark.
I just love where this takes you into the psychological battle as a player offensively. Was that a great contest, or did you just miss the shot? But now you have me thinking about that the entire next possession.
Goran Dragic trying to cash in on a three-point play.
Hey, wait.
For his career, 76% from the line.
You told me to take my other dude off.
Good to finish off the three-point play. The lead is up to 5.
I come about the one that like
To Levine.
the one that played like Kevin Garnett. You told me to kick him out. Why?
To Mobama. Almost, and he's not getting the call. Waiters to Dragic. Second effort. On the follow, way to stay with it.
I like that aggression early. You never just settle for jumpers. You attack, you attack, you attack. And when they back off, you'll have room to shoot that, Jay.
Young to Chris Dunn.
28-02.
Tough shot and nearly a chance at a three-point play. No foul.
Another possession they were forced to take a tough shot. This time they got to go. But they need to do something different to start creating more open look opportunities.
Bulls with the basketball.
Well, I'll show you, to be honest. This is the San Fernando Valley Woodland Hills, to be specific, in Los Angeles.
Goran Dragic, huge ball
over here.
Cashes in for 2.
I don't know if the scouting report has made its way out here yet, but if anything, it says you need to not let him get that close to the rim.
Caravan, you can see the flag waving, you can hear the horn talking. We talked to some of these demonstrators. One of them saying they wanted to show
rejected.
Just incredible timing.
Butler to bring it up. Leads front.
Another man telling me that he's a
nice pass to set things up.
I'm not sure that wasn't an offensive foul, but take it when you can get it.
He is now running and he supports President Trump. The line of cars goes way down Ventura Boulevard, and this is going to continue on into Studio City, so it's going to move down. And then
right there.
The street will show you that a counter demonstration has popped up along the signs from Cool Jews, and also Trump lied. 100,080
nice finish at the rim.
They're going to have to find answers defensively and quickly because he's carving them up in the first quarter.
It looks like this caravan is just about ready to go here in Woodland Hills.
Done. To Porter.
Wait, but they ain't over?
Thank you. Full conversation surrounding race in this country is being amplified by athletes. And now
that's it. You see what that sign said?
What?
That sign said, Donald Trump drives it. Black Lives Matter.
Every shot that the offense takes, make sure that it has a 10 as far as degree of difficulty.
Not a piece to knock it away.
That kid can block out the sun.
It goes down.
As a player, there's nothing better than coming out in the first quarter and playing exactly the same way you played the last couple of days of practice. You're moving the ball, you're capitalizing on mistakes, and you really built a nice lead.
Wait. The game over?
That's a momentum play. They looked lifeless here in the first quarter, but a dunk like that can get your team going in the right direction.
Is honestly making me sick to my stomach. When asked about her decision, here's what Osaka told the school.
A lot of contact on that play.
Is he game over or is he game getting started?
You feel that? I see the confidence building.
Too young.
It's 50-17.
And honestly, I'm more of a follower.
It's over.
To Chris Dunn.
So I was just waiting for that.
Yes, and a foul. He'll have a chance at a three-point play.
The defender was actually in a good position there. They even made a decent play on the ball, but sometimes those bounces go the other way. Still, stay aggressive.
Tomorrow. And Carolyn, that was eye-opening. Say that she is always going to
Free throw is good to finish off the three-point play, and the margin down to 8.
Something that the sports world has been talking about almost as much as what the NBA has been doing.
Inverts in the paint. Nice finish at the rim.
This comes down to great execution both on the offensive and defensive end.
They gotta go. What the hell?
This into the second quarter.
Good afternoon, Gianna. Well, the sense I get is not at the moment. And speaking with a source inside the bubble behind me, who's privy to those sorts of conversations with event organizers, the plan right now is to move forward as scheduled on Monday. But you raised a great point about Naomi Osaka. She's normally very soft-spoken. She's very reserved. It was her attitude
out there looking like the Kimbe Mutombo.
Took it right to her, and the defender was ready.
And it really shows you the power that the 22-year-old
Here comes the screen.
She's the highest earning female athlete in the entire world, and everybody took notice, even her fellow athletes, including 16-year-old Coco Gauff.
A drive to the basket, but the shot rattles in and out. Not loose. To Mobamba. Bam out of Mayo. Hits it. That's his third block this evening.
This game is all about playing mind tricks on people. The offense is more worried about getting their shot blocked than they are about actually making the shot.
Wait, what they think when he do that? No, not that. The other one.
But they'll count the bucket, showing you why he belongs here in this league with the best of the best. Efficient scoring out of the rookie Richmond.
To Mobamba.
Oh, he's
damn!
Oh, big man doing work right there.
Bulls get it back. Porter, guarded by Jimmy Butler. Won't go.
Ooh, I like that intensity on that play. That's how you actually dig in the dirt and do your job in the defensive end.
Goran Dragic, 2 for 3 now.
And urging everybody to kind of join this narrative, and Coco Gauff and Naomi Osaka are certainly among them.
And it's so important to point that out.
But when you play for each other and not just for yourself, that's when great things happen. You essentially lose yourself in what the team is trying to accomplish. It's called unselfish basketball. And there's nothing more beautiful than rewarding your teammate with a nice pass and letting them finish for 2 or 3 points.
Stuffs it down with authority. They have set the tone in this one.
I love when I see offenses come out in beast mode. You attack that paint, you get to the rim, inevitably the floor will open up for you to knock down some threes.
To be honest, this week has been very hard for me and a lot of other people. Not even people directly affected by what's happening, but just the idea that we're
I
having
don't
the
think
same
anyone saw this one coming.
now.
But it looks like they're trying to send a message. Look into their eyes. They're laser focused. They're playing as if this game is tied.
This has been a very difficult week to have to process all of that stuff again. And to hear people once again say, what should we do differently? What we told you months ago what you should be different.
And yet it's continuing. You're right to be frustrated right now. And I know you have 2 episodes you mentioned of United States of America Tonight. The first is a look at what it's like for Iranian immigrants in the U.S. Such an important issue. We haven't heard much about it. Let's take a look at the first quarter of play. Say what?
You could tank.
Watch a day joke. How's that? Okay, what do you call a cool mushroom? What? A fun guy. I understand, but I don't think it's. You know what? Kamau knows more jokes than me. So what, Kamau? Did that joke fall? I saw the look on your face. It was a very sweet interaction. Tell me more about what you learned with this episode.
Well, I think a lot of times, most times when we talk about Iran, we're talking about them as an enemy of the United States. I think what we're forgetting is that there are a large population of Iranian Americans here who left Iran to pursue the dreams of freedom of the United States.
What did it say?
And those people who stories of patriotism, of immigrant stories, of assimilation, of trying to hold on to your culture. And I'm glad
do it say Bonk Air Pin Sock?
Too oftentimes in the media we frame Iran as only an enemy and not stories like that.
Well, for someone who came to this country as a young child from the Soviet Union, I can completely relate. That's why it's so important that you have pieces like this. I will definitely be tuning in. I hope everyone does as well.